Matt is a senior with a 4.0 grade point average. I'm sure that's a mistake. His declared major is philosophy and religion. His minor is German. He intends to pursue a future career as either a pastor or a missionary. At Hillsdale, he volunteers for A Few Good Men, serves as a resident advisor in the Simpson dormitory, participates in the Students for Life Club, and belongs to both the Phi Sigma Tau Philosophy Honorary and the Delta Phi Alpha German Honorary. Matthew assists with a local scout troop, and besides his various campus activities, he recently led a mission trip to the Ukraine. He also belonged to the Boy Scouts, reaching the rank of Eagle Scout, and he worked at the Henson Scout Reservation. Matt is the oldest of 3 children. His sister Megan is a college sophomore. His brother Tim is a high school senior. The family lives in Bear, Delaware. His father is an information technology consultant, while his mother is a part-time teacher.
Welcome, class of 2018. I'm honored and delighted to speak to you and to your families today. You don't know me yet, although if you live in Simpson tonight, you surely will. But in one sense, I already know you. Odds are I know what you're thinking, and what you're excited about, and even what you're nervous about. That's because just 3 years ago, I was sitting right over there in between my parents, and I was trembling at the thought of what I had gotten myself into. You see, I had heard the rumors of how hard this place is, and it absolutely terrified me. And I suspect that many of you have heard the rumors too. You're probably a tangled mixture of nerves and anticipation right now, just like I was. That's why I would like to do my best to reassure you and excite you about the task you are about to undertake. To do that, I would like to start by sharing the story of how I came to Hillsdale College. It begins on a prospective student day in December 2010 at the Kirby Center in Washington, D.C. At the end of our tour, my dad and I somehow wound up in the front row to a speech presented by Dr. Arnn. In that speech, he told us about Aristotle and explained Aristotle's concept of nature, the idea that things have specific ends or purposes to them. So for example, he explained that the end of a horse is to run well and majestically. What he said next, though, I'll never forget. He paused for a moment and looked intently at me. It's kind of intimidating. And then he looked back at his audience and he pointed to me and he said, Aristotle would look at this boy and he would say he is not a horse. His end is different. It is not simply to run. And at that moment, I knew exactly where I had to go to college, Hillsdale, of course. But at the same time, you can see the sweet irony of this fact. I chose Hillsdale simply because its president told me I'm not a horse. Irony aside, though, I've thought about that moment several times since then. As I sat down to compose this speech, I began to draw more connections between that moment and the meaning of life at Hillsdale College. You see, the fact that you and I are not horses ought to send a shockwave right to the core of how we go about our education. We can do more than work, eat, and sleep. We can do more than flee pain and pursue pleasure. We can think. We can speak. We can wonder, imagine, and rejoice. That is a tremendous thing, a gift. And yet it is an almost forgotten thing in the world today. It is not, however, a forgotten thing at Hillsdale College. That's why we are here. We long to ask ourselves the deepest questions, to look in the mirror and say, what is man? To look at the world and delight in the beauty of all creation and ponder the meaning of it all. We want to know what it means to be able to think, to learn, to wonder. So we come to this place because it is full of professors and students who earnestly pursue the answers to these questions. We come to devote ourselves to this end together. Now, when I came to Hillsdale, though, I thought I was hot stuff, and I thought I knew what it meant to take this goal seriously. I was one of those homeschooled kids who worked most of the time and then spent the rest of his time worrying about his work. As I've thought about it, though, I've come to suspect that Hillsdale students in general tend to fall prey to this idea that college is simply all about working hard. Whether it's in athletics, academics, or anywhere in between, we've come to take this seriously. But take it from someone who used to study long into Friday and Saturday nights with his dorm room shut tight. That's not what Hillsdale College is all about. If you treat college like it's only about working hard, building a good resume to land a stellar job, or even, and here's the tricky one, making yourself the smartest person in the room, then you're actually treating yourself like a horse, good for nothing except hard, grueling work. Think about our motto, strength rejoices in the challenge. The second word there is key, rejoices. We like to look at words like strength and challenge because these are mighty words, words that sing of great feats and accomplishments, but they are not the most important words. Our motto does not say strength overcomes the challenge or strength rises above the challenge. Even horses can do these things. Rather, our motto says strength rejoices in the challenge. During your 4 years here, you will be totally submerged in the challenge. There is great danger in that. The danger, though, is not the possibility that you might dash your GPA on the rocks. It's not even that you might drown in a bottomless sea of tests, papers, and reading assignments. The danger is that you could miss the point. That you will excel at all you put your hands to, ace your classes, build that glittering resume, become the best athlete on the field, and land a stellar job, and yet settle for a joyless education, which is no education at all. But if you let them, the things you study here will, as C.S. Lewis said, prick you with stabs of joy. They will point to something outside yourself, something worth desiring, worth pursuing, something you can't just know about, something you have to taste for yourself and live out. But you must see through your work and look for the deeper meaning in the books and in the learning. You must live and learn as though there is something real in this work and this world before us, because there is. And so I hope that you will soon find, and much sooner than I ever found, that some of the sweetest moments at Hillsdale College are the nights when the cell phones go silent, the laptops are shut tight, and the conversation amongst friends soars far and wide into the night. It is in those moments that the notes from the classroom and the words from the books come alive in our life together. And it is then that you will get a taste of joy, of the realness and meaning of your education. In fact, it is only then that your education will truly begin. So as I welcome you to Hillsdale College, I'm really beckoning you to join us in this fellowship, in this partnership, and in this pursuit for joy. I look forward to meeting many of you and working by your sides. And I hope joy will find you while you are here for the next 4 years. As you begin, though, just do me a favor and remember one thing: you're not a horse.